Premier League kicks off for the new season on Saturday, August the 8th, with Manchester United hosting Tottenham. And if you can't wait till then for your Premier League betting action, we've got some outright bets worth a look at right now. Stuart from Talking Tipsters is here on the line to take a look at the action right now. Now let's first take a look at the top six. Last year in order, we saw Chelsea, Manchester City, Arsenal, Manchester United, which rounded it off the top four, followed by Tottenham and then Liverpool bringing it to six. And no surprise, the bookies have those priced to finish in the top six, with only Tottenham here having value priced 1.8. Would Tottenham be your bet to end up in the top six, or are you looking at another outsider?
I definitely like the idea of Tottenham in the top six. A little bit higher would be good as well. But they've made some fairly bold moves over the transfer window so far. They brought in 3 defenders, and they're looking at other players as well. They've also shipped out a few players, and there are more to go as well. So, as with a number of these sides, I think we're going to have to wait and see what happens in the transfer market before we can make any real predictions.
That's right. Is there any, apart from the teams that I just mentioned now, is there any other teams that you could see ending up in the top six? Maybe Southampton?
Yeah, I think Southampton have got a chance. They've been pretty good at spending money the last few years, and by the looks of it, they're going to get another decent chunk. I mean, they've sold Nathaniel Klein, they got good money for him, and now, by the looks of it, they're going to sell Schneiderlin. And if Morgan Schneiderlin goes as well, then that's going to be a very, very big amount of money. And with that, they might be able to do some good work. They did it last year, and I think they just run out of steam a little bit. So a slightly bigger squad might help them out.
Yeah. Now next we move to the top four, and the first team with value is Liverpool, priced 3.35, followed by Tottenham, priced 7, both bet 365. Is there an outsider that we should consider, or are you looking at Chelsea, Man City, Manchester United and Arsenal claiming the top four right now?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm being boring, and I'm just looking at those standard four. I mean, the idea of Liverpool shaking off that bad season is nice for Liverpool fans, I'm sure. But I don't think they've actually got much stronger. You know, they still need to do work in the transfer market. As I said already, they've signed a couple of players, but they're spending big money to get players in, and they've got players there who they need to shift as well, and they're not able to do that. Looking at Tottenham, we've already talked about them. They've shaken up their defence a little bit, but there's still work there as well. So neither of these sides are particularly finished, I'd say. For me, it's all about the top four, really. It's all about the big four guns that we've seen before: Chelsea, Manchester City, Manchester United, Arsenal, and whichever order they come in.
And say if there was one team that maybe may not make the top four of the ones that we just mentioned, who would it be and who would it replace?
I think the most likely to drop out is Manchester United. Now, I don't think there's a lot of chance of that happening because they've got a huge chunk of money to spend. There's something like £200 million there
Wow.
for Louis van Gaal to spend. And, he's already spent some big money as well. When they bought in Memphis to pay, that was a decent transfer fee. On top of that, they're going to bring in some more players. They've already let some players go. I think just tonight, there's talk of Robin van Persie going to Turkey. Now, if they do that, then they've obviously got to bring in another forward. And, there was talk about people like Benzema coming in, people like him, and if they can do that, if they can bring in Benzema, then I think they've got fourth place pretty much sewn up. Can they get higher than that is the question.
Yeah, and if there was one team outside of the top four that has even a small chance of making the top four, which team would it be?
I would be a little bit biased and go for Tottenham, I think. I think they've got the better all-round squad. I think they've got a settled manager at the moment. I think Liverpool, they could find that things go very badly wrong for them early on, and they may end up having to look for a new manager. Now, obviously, Jurgen Klopp's going to be available, and he's going to be like that shadow hanging over all of the clubs right now. So, I think Tottenham could break into the top four, but maybe it's just a Spurs fan in me, but there's something else that says, no, that ain't going to happen.
Now we move to the all-important winner of next season's Premier League. Now the top five in order are Chelsea at 2.6, Man City 3.75, Arsenal 6, Man United 6.5, and Liverpool as far there as 29. So go on, take a stab right now. Obviously the transfer window has not closed. Right now, who is it going to be?
Right now, Chelsea have got the strongest squad. Manchester City, I think they're actually a little bit weaker than they were last year. They've got a lot of work to do in the transfer market, so they could come up. Arsenal doing well. I think they did very, very well towards the end of the season. And you got Manchester United, who I think those are the four main contenders. But for me, Chelsea, they were the strongest side last year. They haven't really done too much wrong in the transfer market, and I think they'll probably still bring in a player or two. So Chelsea.
All right, so Chelsea. Chelsea does certainly seems the obvious bet. That's what I'm going for as well. But Manchester United was the last team to win it consecutively between 2007 and 2009, and no team has since. So who of those teams has a chance other than Chelsea?
I think Arsenal actually have a chance. I make them my second favourite, so I think there's a bit of value in their odds there. They've really filled out that problem position. They've had a problem at the back for a very long time, and the signing of Petr Cech has done really, really good work for them. He has now filled that one position that they've needed to fill for, well, how long? 7 years, something like that. So they've got a really good chance this year. If they can sign a midfielder, which it sounds like they're going to do, if they can sign a forward, which it sounds like they might do, then I think they've got a very good chance. And they would, for me, they would be the danger men for Chelsea.
So Premier League has released a lot more markets at the moment than the other sort of European leagues. What other markets are you particularly looking at?
Well, I had a look at the cup markets. I didn't really see much there. I think it's a little bit too for me. But one thing I did look at was the top scorer market, and frankly, I saw Sergio Aguero at 4.5 with Bet365. I thought that's a really good set of odds for a player that managed to score that many goals with some injury problems last year. And if he can stay fit, he should definitely do that again. Harry Kane pushed him last season, but that was a breakout season for him. I'm not sure he's going to do as well. I'm sure he'll do well, but as well, that's a lot to ask, I think.
Yeah, all right, fantastic. Now, obviously, we've had a little bit of break. I haven't spoken to you in quite a while here during the off-season. What have you been up to?
Oh, what have I been up to? Well, I've been working on a load of things, and one of those is a brand new website. Today, I've actually launched tipsterhq.com, which is a new site for tipsters to come in and basically just talk to the punters they're working with. So, they can work with them, they can talk with them, and they can enter their tips and track their results and things like that as well. So everything that you'd expect from a tipster site is there, but it's in a forum format, and it's nice and relaxed. So hopefully it will take off.
All right, fantastic. I look forward to checking that out. Stuart, thank you for joining us today.
Anytime.